Okay, meeting come to order. Conservation Commission, July 20th, 7 PM. Members in attendance, Virginia Hoffman, Ron, Doug, Lorraine, and Charlene. The entire board's in attendance. Lorraine and Charlene, can you just say something?
Here.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so if the board could, we have 3 sets of minutes to read. I believe everybody has them in front of them. If they could go through those. And let me know when you guys are done, okay? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
on April 13th,
Okay.
page 3,
Page 3, yep.
yeah. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Well, this should be the 4th paragraph, but it's the sentence that if they don't want identify the zone A on the plan, the commission can condition it. It's a little ambiguous.
I said, I think what that means is if they don't want to identify the zone A, the board can put it in the order of conditions.
Yeah.
Identify.
Just a couple of grammatical corrections on that, it'll be fine.
Okay, well, that's nothing new, so.
And then under down at the bottom of the page, under Mike Bromberg, the statement, how can in the middle of the project can they move the erosion control to cut trees down?
I think the secretary was just paraphrasing his question. How can they?
All right, and then on the final page, under McCarthy Farm, we have it as McCarty Farm.
Yep.
And then in that paragraph, it should be stated that the town has the right of first refusal. That's all for April 13th.
I'm assuming the secretary's hearing all this?
Yes.
Thank you.
We set to go to May 11th?
I am.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Virginia, Ron, you guys good? Okay. All right.
May 11th, one little correction on the second page. On the M Nova Beta Group, I think it was supposed to be floodplain, not flood plan. That's all for that.
I'm still trying to find that. Hold on one second.
Oh.
It's all set.
On the second page.
Okay.
Take care of that.
May 11th. Everybody else good? Or you still need time to read it? I'm not rushing you. Take your time. Okay. Lorraine, we're still going to finish May 11th. Just give
Okay.
it a couple minutes, okay?
That's all right. It's always good to have a second pair of eyes.
You okay? Ron, you good? Okay, Lorraine, you have anything on the last set of minutes?
Yes, June 8th. Second page, under 287 Concord Street, NOI.
Yep.
I think we need to strike that word at the end of the sentence, that. And that's it for me.
Okay. Sure you weren't an English teacher at some point?
No, I used to have to correct things for doctors.
Yeah.
So on the meeting minutes of Tuesday, April 13th, make a motion to accept.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Go ahead, Lorraine.
Meeting minutes Tuesday, May 11th, make a motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous.
Meeting minutes Tuesday, June 8th, make a motion to accept.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Lorraine.
We're done with the minutes.
Nice work. Thank you. Okay. So as far as the agenda goes. All right. So anybody who's here for the Shingle Mill development, that's been continued to our August 10th meeting. So there'll be no discussion on that. And the only other thing on the agenda tonight is the Dyer Street project. There's 2 NOIs. And that's it. So motion to open up the hearing for project off Dyer Street.
So moved.
Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, I guess we'll start with Marty. Marty, are you on?
I am Doug.
Okay.
Sure, Mike.
Um,
Yeah, yes. So there's 2 NOIs. Which NOI are we starting with?
I guess we'll start with the one that's on the agenda in the same order. So the parcels 34-830.
Okay, I'm not sure if that's the multi-family. See,
Yeah, that's the,
that's the duplex. That's actually the duplex. So I thought they the McKenzie Group did submit a response to Beta's and Henry Nover's comments back in early June. So I thought it'd be a good idea that they go through any plan changes that they made based on our comments, and then we can provide further comment tonight if necessary. We have looked at their responses for both. So we're prepared to discuss.
I mean, would this be easier to take it as all one, or do we have to handle it separately?
I think you should handle it separately because any vote would have to be separate. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay,
Mhm.
Question, which is which parcel?
so the first one on the agenda is the duplex.
The where is that?
That's the two, call it closest to South Douglas Street.
So it's in the back. It's not the one right off the dime.
Well, the one right off of Dyer would be the duplex, and then the
Okay.
bigger lot out back is the multifamily or mixed use, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So Marty, do you have a list of questions, or should we address that with Brad, or how do you want to?
Yeah, I think Brad should make a presentation of any plan changes and additional information that they submitted in response to our comments from early April.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, so
it has been a while. It'd be kind of good for them to go through where they're at and what they provided in addition. And then Beta didn't provide a written comments to their June responses. We did look at it, and I'm kind of getting ahead of everything, but we were satisfied that they've submitted relative to the wetland resource areas, that they've submitted sufficient information to describe the site, the work, and the effects of the work on the resource areas, if any.
Okay.
At this point. Mhm.
So, Brad, the floor is yours. If you kind of want to just give everybody an update and just kind of hold our hand here a little bit, because it's been a while.
Sure. For the record, Brad McKenzie, McKenzie Engineering Group, representing the applicant, Mike Gaspar from Gaspar Investments LLC. The property owner, Tom Hastings, is also on this call. There have been a series of review letters from Beta and Henry Nova relating to stormwater. And I know that you indicated you'd like to take these separately, but from from a site plan and a stormwater perspective, they're all interrelated. So if I could, I can review the plan changes that we've made relative to stormwater first, and that would be our latest set of revised plans were submitted on June 29th, and they were in response to a June 22nd review letter from Henry on the stormwater management design. So in our 629 response, the plans were revised to eliminate, could I screen share? Do I have permission to screen share?
Yes, you do. Please do.
Okay, can you see the plan?
I can't yet. Something was happening though.
Says I'm screen sharing. Oh. You can't see these plans? No? Well, let me zoom
I
back.
can see them.
You can see them?
Brad, I can see them.
Maybe it's just our internet connection. It's taking a little time to catch up here.
And Marta, can you see these?
I can see them. Yes.
Okay. All right. So you may recall, as you know, Rockland, through the planning board rules and regulations, has a requirement that peak volumes be mitigated as well as peak rates of runoff. The stormwater management regulations, the state stormwater management regulations have a requirement that peak rates be reduced for all storms up to and including the 100-year storm, with also the requirement that we cannot increase the extent of flooding in a 100-year storm on down gradient properties. So we started analyzing all of this. Our original design had incorporated in this area and the area back here kind of an open stormwater detention basin design, extended detention basin design. And we had done more soil testing witnessed by Henry in the spring, which gave us more groundwater information. So as we went back and forth, we started investigating all of the down gradient properties, culverts across South Douglas, culvert at Union Street, looked at historic levels of flooding. And as we got more into the design, it made more sense to actually raise the elevations on the site, because the soil is somewhat conducive to infiltration. It's permeable. So, but we need to maintain a minimum of 2-foot separation for storms up to and including the 10-year storm, and a 4-foot separation to take infiltration credit for all of the storms. So we decided to raise the site to provide the requisite groundwater separation. And by incorporating the plastic Cultec chamber type design, which you see here, there's an extensive number of these units proposed, we were able to get enough credit for infiltration of runoff to meet that, to ensure that the peak volumes are less in the pre-development, in the post-development condition, in the pre-development condition. So we no longer need a waiver from the planning board rules and regulation requirement, and we do meet, we are ensuring that the level, the extent of flooding down gradient at South Douglas Street is not going to be exacerbated as a result of this development. It also actually provides more usable yard area for the units, in that the entire backyard, rear yard of both of these properties is not a 2 or 3 foot deep hole. So this was incorporated in the plan set, the June 29th plan set, in response to Henry's 622 letter. He requested that we revise the infiltration rate, the Rawls rate of 2.41 inches an hour, to a more appropriate rate for Sandy Loam of 1.02 inches an hour. It resulted in adding several chambers in each row of the systems. In addition, we added poly barriers between the face of the units and the slope, the side slopes, to protect against breakout. We expanded the drainage easement to include the outlet structure on system 2. We added some other notes at Henry's request about removing unsuitable soil and requiring inspections, bottom of excavation inspections prior to backfill, to ensure that the soil at the bottom of the system is consistent with the assumptions that we made based on soil testing results. We relocated some trees. There were some trees proposed here where the drainage easement is, and we had relocated some trees. I'll try to blow this up to get a little better. To provide for better access here from the roadway to this basin, which is system number 2. And we added a few other minor modifications, added inspection ports, and added additional notes on the erosion and sediment control sheets relative to construction phase mitigation. That was the extent of the response to Henry, Henry's review. I don't have a list of plan revisions that we accomplished in response to earlier beta reviews. I think we reviewed those maybe at an April meeting or a March, or April. I think it was an April meeting. I could be wrong. I do recall that more information was requested relative to the construction sequence that we have on the erosion and sediment control sheet, which is in this location. I know that the most recent plan change that we accomplished in response to Marta's email of June 24th was pulling the stone riprap outlet, pulling this further away from the 25-foot no disturb to ensure that there's no encroachment into that zone. And that was submitted, that was addressed, I believe, on around the same date, June 24th. With that said, I think according to the correspondence that we received from Beta as well as Henry, we think that we've satisfactorily addressed all of the consultants' concerns for both DEP file numbers, both filings. So with that, I guess I'll open it up to questions.
That's as far as the stormwater is concerned, correct?
Well, I think I'll let Marta speak to that. I think, you know, her review was not relative to stormwater. Beta's review was relative to
Correct.
globally to both NOI submissions.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I can add to that. You know, really the two remaining items were one was just providing additional landscaping in the buffer zone area, which they did, and also just pulling back the stone riprap from the outlet to the basin. And at this point, you know, we do have some recommended special conditions if the commission chooses to approve the project and issue an order of conditions. But at this time, we don't have any further comment.
Okay. As far as Henry goes, Henry, are you good?
I am good. Brad did a good summary of the changes that were made in response to my comments. The last set of plan revisions was based on my review of basically what you see on the plan he's showing you, and he made some minor changes. Added a few units, provided some more drainage easement area, et cetera, that he talked about. And that was response to my June 22nd letter. It basically said he was generally in compliance, but I had a few little things that I wanted him to look at, and he's done that. And I'm satisfied with their response.
Okay. All right, so I'll go around the board. I don't have any questions. Ron, do you have any questions? Virginia, do you have any questions? Okay. Lorraine, Charlene,
No, I think if they've addressed everything that came up on the comment letters from both Marty, Beta, and from Henry, that's what I was following along with, so I'm all right with that.
Yep.
Was it, actually, though, I do have one question. Was there not some condition with the road configuration that was being looked at?
I don't believe as far as the Conservation Commission is concerned, no.
All right.
Marty? Nothing on the,
Not that I'm aware of, maybe Henry.
no, that was something I mentioned in a meeting, but that's really.
Can you get rid of the screen?
I'm sorry, you want me to stop screen sharing?
Yes, please. We never got your screen sharing, so we still see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a comment that I had mentioned more for the planning board than anything. That's not really Conservation Commission related, so. Lorraine, you have any questions, comments?
Did we get the final design of the roof drain systems?
Henry?
No, we didn't, and they've agreed to provide the final design of the roof system for the review of the Conservation Commission before they built it. They show on their plan a system of piping, taking the roof drains over to the subsurface infiltration systems, but the pipes aren't sized, based on an actual flow rate or something of that nature, and we're looking for something more definitive. Their design assumes that a 100-year storm event will be collected off that roof and brought over to the infiltration basins, and that's something they need to look at an actual design for that. And it is a flat roof system, if I remember correctly, which would make it somewhat easier to do this. If it was a standard permanent gutter system, it would be difficult to collect 100-year storm. So I'm confident they'll be able to do this. We just need to see those calculations.
So can we add that as part of the order of conditions, or is that
I
gonna?
would recommend it. I had recommended in my letter that be included as a special condition of lease.
Okay. Okay. As far as the board, I think we're good. Does anybody in the audience have any questions?
Yep,
And you are?
George Grass, 40 South Douglas.
Okay.
The runoff water, is that like a basin where it's gonna hold water? Permanently?
Brad, you want to answer that?
I assume, George, you're speaking about the chambers that are in the rear, to the rear of these units.
Yeah, you're creating a basin to hold water.
That's
Well,
all.
these are, yeah,
that's
these,
all-
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. These aren't really, these are intended to infiltrate water to replicate the existing condition, as well as slowly releasing it back to its pre-development drainage, replicating the drainage pattern as well. So there's a combination of infiltration and detention.
So is this gonna be a maintained pond, or is it just gonna be freestanding? Whatever in there is in there?
It's not a pond, it's subsurface. You can't see these from the
Okay,
ground.
so when-
surface.
So when we have 1 million mosquitoes throughout the entire neighborhood, do you care? If every single neighbor now's gotta have fish nets out there because of the mosquitoes that you're gonna create with these ponds?
These are underground. These are not open to the air.
Okay, so it's not gonna create a bunch of, because
No,
you're basically putting asphalt and concrete everywhere, so the water has nowhere to go now because there's no drainage for rain.
The
Now,
water.
we just had 10 inches of water in the last 3 weeks,
The water's.
and I
gonna-
have 0 water in my basement.
the
I've
water-
done everything right to my yard so that I don't get water in my basement.
the
What
water-
happens if after this project, I get water in my basement?
you shouldn't, because we're going above and beyond what the state stormwater regulations require. That is, we're mitigating peak rates, peak volumes of runoff as well as peak rates. So the volume of stormwater that's being released back into that stream is less than what occurs presently.
Okay, now is that stream gonna be maintained yearly?
The
Or is
stream-
once
the
the
stream-
project done, you're gone and you don't
the
care?
stream, well, the stream, we're comparing apples to apples. I mean, we're just telling you that the water that's being introduced into the stream, the volume of water will be less than what's going into the stream today. I can't speak to, most of that stream is off-site of this project. So it wouldn't be the responsibility of this developer and the condo association to maintain that stream on a regular basis. The town would
Okay.
have to be involved. A lot of that stream is on town property.
And which department maintains that stream? Because I've been doing it for the last 15 years.
Well,
I actually had Dave Taylor out there a couple months ago.
He can't
and
answer
you-
that. If you need to know that information, that's something to Mr. Taylor for.
Okay, and my concern is I don't want to get water in my basement. And I'm losing 10 feet of my yard. I'm afraid that the traffic is going to be outrageous. I know that's not the conservation land, but my concern is water. And I think every one of my neighbors is concerned about the water. And we don't want standing ponds that are going to create a bunch of mosquitoes. So that's my concern, is we want that stream to be maintained by somebody, not me, because I'm getting to the age where I don't want to go out there anymore. And if I can't get through there because the condo association put up a fence, now I can't control it. And I know there are a lot of kids out there that throw stuff in it, or people throw trash in there because I've cleaned it out. So I guess my question is, if I ever have an issue with the stream, who do I call to maintain the stream?
The Rockland Sewer Department.
Okay,
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? No?
Someone's got their hand up.
Thank you. Yes, yes, I do. I have a question. My name is Brian Kilgallen, 32 Rice Ave. I actually have a couple of questions. How high are you going to raise this, particularly the one off behind of Rice Ave? How high are you going to be raising this detention pond?
Again, it's not a detention pond, so it's about 3 feet.
Okay.
3 feet.
Okay. What is this? What is this where you're going to be doing snow removal? Are you going to be putting snow in there? Okay.
No.
Okay. So this is strictly from the street and the parking lot?
That is correct.
Okay. So the question I have is it's bordering right on the properties of those on Rice Ave. I personally have 3 75-foot pine trees there, which probably have roots going into that property. Is that going to be disturbed? I have 3 75-foot pine trees, another smaller pine tree, a maple tree. It's on the other side of my chain link fence, but it's still on my property. It's I have 2 feet beyond that chain link fence.
Yeah, I'm looking at the property.
32. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also my neighbor also has a big oak tree there as well. A big oak tree right on the corner of my property. And then further down, I think there's another tree as well.
It doesn't look, Brian, it doesn't look like
Yeah.
we're actually putting any fill within 10 feet of your property line. Or I would
Oh,
say-
okay.
Yeah, it looks like we're maintaining your existing grades. I would
Is-
say about 8 feet from your property line.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
so
didn't
the-
have, I apologize. I don't have the plans to see them. I know before
Yeah.
it wasn't. So now the other question I have is this considered, given that it's now an underground, there's no floodplain associated with this? This is probably a question for you and the board as well. I don't know. And Marta, probably. There is no floodplain with this?
No floodplain is shown on the FEMA maps, no.
Okay. So there's no runoff or anything that would come from that pond. It would run right down to the stream and your basins.
Yeah, there's a pipe that there's an outlet control structure. So whatever isn't infiltrated, whatever volume of water isn't infiltrated back into the ground, which again, the concept behind this design is to recreate the existing drainage pattern and recharge conditions. So whatever isn't infiltrated is going to be directed through this outlet structure to the far right, I guess, behind unit 4. And I know you're not looking at plans, but
Yeah, I don't have the plans. Is it possible you could send me the plans?
would you? Yeah, sure. I mean, if you want to send me a,
Sure.
you want a PDF or you want an email?
Yes,
or-
that would be fine. That'd be fine.
What's your email address?
BRK5
BRK5
at mail.com.
BRK5. Gotcha. Yeah, we'll send them
Okay.
tomorrow morning.
Great,
Thank you,
great.
Brad.
Thank you. I have some other issues as well. Is this going to be land that's traversable? In other words, it's going to be underground, and you mentioned you're going to have landscaping and everything like that, correct? You're going to do landscaping over that?
Not over the units, no, but within the slopes, the side slopes of the units. There'll be some landscaping to, I'm sure, to buffer.
Yeah, I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about the on the actual. You're saying this is now an underground river, essentially, right?
No, it's not a. It's.
So is
It's underground.
it open at all?
Is it
is it
open?
open?
Not to the sky? No, not to the sky.
Okay, so there wouldn't be like parking or anything like that on there.
No, it's basically going to be a maintained lawn area. Probably used for recreation.
Yeah, backyard.
An amenity for the units. The open space.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'd like to take a look at those plans and see if there's and check that out as well.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I may have other questions, but I'll hold off for now. Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Nobody else has any other questions? Okay. How does the board? Close the board? Close it? Yep. Okay. We're gonna ask the, before we close the hearing, we're gonna ask the applicant to, waive, 21-day,
Hey Doug, hold on for a minute. Everyone needs to put their phone on mute so we don't get the feedback.
anyway, we're gonna ask the applicant to, waive the, 21-day approval period. Brad, is that okay with you?
Is my client on the phone? Is that okay? Do we know what your timeline would be for,
Just our next hearing, that's all.
oh,
Just
for the
wanna
next
make sure
hearing?
We have enough time to have another hearing.
Do you plan on closing this hearing tonight?
I believe we do, yes.
So you're waiving the 21 days in order, in which you have to issue the order? Is that what you
That's
want?
right, that's
Waive?
right. We're asking you to waive the 21 days to issue the order of conditions so we can have them prepared for our next hearing, which may not be within 21 days. It may
Any
be
idea, any idea when?
3 days, maybe 24 days. I mean, this might be a moot point, but let me see.
Mr. Chair, your next meeting is exactly 21 days from tonight. So the issuance of the order would be in the days following that meeting, so it would exceed the 21-day.
So how about 30 days? Does that work?
I believe 30 days would work. The only thing that I want to make sure of is just in case that hearing for some reason gets canceled or we don't have a full board, I want to make sure that we have enough time to have a hearing. So let me see here, 7.
It actually wouldn't be a hearing, Mr. Chair. It would just be the discussion of the order and the vote on the order and the special conditions.
Right.
Assuming you're going to close the hearing tonight. But I would suggest that if for some reason that did happen, you didn't have a quorum, maybe the applicant could extend that 30 days at that time, if that did happen.
Okay.
And at the same time, we could provide a draft copy of the order to them for review so that they see that it was
Sure.
done.
That's fine. So I'm sorry, when is the next meeting? The August what?
I believe we're planning on the 10th right now. Marty, is that what we're planning, or Carrie? The 10th or the 17th?
August 10th is the next hearing.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you could give us, say, 40 days, just to make sure we get past that 10th meeting and there's not an issue, just in case it carries to the 17th. I want to make sure that we have enough time to get the orders out to you. Is that okay with you?
My client has indicated that he'll give us until, well, that's 8:15, an extension to 8:15. Is Mr. Hastings on the call?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Tom, what would you like? What was agreeable? What are you agreeable to?
Well, whatever's reasonable for the board to be able to issue the order. If they close the hearing tonight, we can give them an extension of 30 days. I think they said the next meeting is scheduled for, what is it, August 10th?
Correct.
Okay, let's give them a 30-day extension
From
today.
30-day extension from tonight.
Yes.
Well, that's actually a 9-day extension. But anyway, I mean,
No, but they have 21 days to issue the order. The 21st day is on August 10th.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. So let's give them another week after that. That
So
should be
40
plenty of time.
Okay, so what's that? You're saying like 30 days?
Yes.
And, okay,
So that'd be 30 days from tonight.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. We'll just make sure that we have a hearing on the 10th, no matter what. That's all.
Thank you. And if there's an issue, we can address it then.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes these meetings tend to, once in a while they have issues. I just want to make sure that there's, if we have to cancel the meeting and have it a week later, that's not going to be an issue, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be.
No,
No.
we've got, so really it's a 9-day extension beyond the 21 days.
Yep, that's fine.
Thank you.
Marty's,
I
that's fine, right? You agree with that?
Yes,
Okay, that gives us enough time to. get
yes.
this done.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, who's this?
George Grass again. Can
Okay.
we have the next meeting not be a Zoom meeting and be in person? When is the town gonna lift that so we can do in-person meetings?
The town can have in-person meetings right now. We chose to have this as a Zoom meeting as the Conservation Commission.
Okay,
So we're going to discuss that at the end of the hearing tonight to see how we want to move forward. But I had multiple people ask me to have this as a Zoom meeting, so pretty much everybody can attend. So that's the reason I chose a Zoom meeting.
okay.
Okay? All right, so,
I have one other question, just quick.
all right.
I'm sorry, thank you. Again, Brian Kilgallen, 32 Rice Ave. I would like to ask, it's probably for Henry, is the demolition of the ledge on Dyer Street, is that going to affect the water flow in any way?
I personally don't really know that answer. There's a potential that when you put a sewer line in it and you blast for ledge, that becomes a conduit for the groundwater. That would have to be looked at the time they're doing that work to see if there is groundwater. They can actually put a block in the trench to keep the water from flowing down the street and keep it back on the site. There's ways to look at that. That I think is more of a planning board issue at this point.
Something along the lines of a clay barrier, Henry?
Yes, yeah.
I was told they weren't gonna be allowed to blast because they're too close to foundations. I was told they would not be allowed to blast because of the foundations being too close.
Yeah, the blasting really has been a topic of the Conservation Commission hearing. It's really not
I
relevant.
understand that, but I was
to
told
the-
that they were not gonna be allowed to blast. So going forward, I'm assuming that they will not be allowed to blast.
That's.
I know it's
that-
not your, but I'm gonna make sure that they know that they should not be allowed to blast with the foundation so close to this.
That's something that's up to the design consultant for the planning board.
That's next week, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure when that hearing is, but I'm sure if they said that to you, then they'll put that in their conditions.
Okay,
My only concern was the water flow. I know we've done I know you've done the testing, the soil testing and the water testing, and you've done it was done in September, which was an extreme drought, and then in February, which was a moderate drought. And now, has there been a way to extrapolate what it would be now as far as the water tables and things like that? Because right now it's a higher water.
Is that a
Brad,
question?
you want to answer that, Brad?
Sure, Henry. We're required by the DEP stormwater management regulations to assess the soil from a seasonal high groundwater perspective. And the way that's accomplished is by using soil morphology. We have soil evaluators that are actually licensed by the state that I know Henry's one. He witnessed these tests, and our staff was out there as well. And what we do is we observe the staining of the soil. Based on how the soil is stained, they call them models, we're able to determine historic seasonal high groundwater elevations. In fact, I think it's relevant to note that we went out at a different time of year. I think we went out last fall during a drier time of year and had
So that was
different,
September.
had different results in terms of where the standing groundwater was than what we observed when Henry witnessed the soil testing this spring or this winter. The groundwater was actually much higher in elevation when we went back out the second time. So, but we're required to look at the morphology, which is an indicator of the historic seasonal high.
Right. I did actually see it because you dug your in September or in the spring, in the fall. You had dug your soil test right behind my house, and I did observe the modeling, and it was very, very white, which means it's very poor drainage, correct?
Very white.
It was the soiling, the soil coloring was very white. It was gray, a light gray, which according to what I've investigated is a poor drainage. Isn't that correct?
Well, not.
I know it's not. I'm just.
Yeah, maybe seasonal high groundwater. It depends on what you're looking at, I guess, the colors
Okay,
of the
yeah.
soil. But
And you would look at it better than I would. I just did it by visual. So I would hope you would, I just wanted, it just seemed like it was, according to what I had seen, that it wasn't great drainage.
Well, the Conservation Commission consultant observed those corings, so. And
Okay, thank you.
And he agrees with the applicant, so I think we're fine there. Okay, so as far as the board's concerned, Lorraine, Charlene, I haven't heard much from you. You guys okay with closing the hearing? I think I might have
Yeah.
gone down this road, but just checking.
I'm all set.
Well, tell them so. Yes.
Yes, we're all set.
Okay, is the applicant okay with closing the hearing?
Yes.
we are.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, can I speak for a second?
yes, you may.
There was a couple of special conditions I want to make sure get in there. We talked about the
Who is
one
speaking?
witnessing the excavation of the subsurface infiltration systems. And they agreed to that, so we want to make sure that's in there. I also recommend that the construction phase inspection reports be submitted to the commission. Those are required by the EPA SWIP program. If they get a certain amount of rainfall, they need to go out and do an inspection and make out a report. And I'm recommending that be submitted to the commission.
More than a quarter of inch of rainfall, something along that line.
Right.
Okay.
And then, of course, the roof drain system design will be submitted as well. That's another special condition. So there's 3 there that I'm recommending.
Okay. Marty, you're gonna prepare the special orders. Do you mind adding the stuff? in
Yes.
you're mentioning?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I think at this point, if the commission just closed the hearing,
Correct.
and at the next meeting, you can discuss the special conditions that we'll add based on our final comments. And then at that time, the commission can vote on the issuance of the order with those special conditions. So I think you can just close the hearing tonight, and then at the next meeting, we can.
Thank you, Marty. That's exactly where I was going.
Yep.
Motion to close the hearing.
Move to close the meeting, yes.
Okay, we got a,
There's
Yep.
actually two that you need to close. So should be specific.
that's right. Okay.
I can give you the DEP file numbers if you'd like. So the first one would be the duplex, which is DEP file number 2730412.
Okay, motion to close the hearing on, I'll just say the last 3, 042,
So moved.
0412.
0412. That's Ron and Virginia. Lorraine, Charlene, yes?
Yes,
Sure.
That's unanimous. Marty, what's the next number?
The next number is for the multifamily, and that is 2730411.
0411. Motion to close the hearing on 0411.
so moved.
Second.
Okay, so that's Lorraine and Charlene, and that's unanimous from the board. Okay. The applicant has agreed to a 30-day, call it expiration date on issuing the orders. So we have time at our August 10th meeting to go over the orders and to finalize them. Okay? All right. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You guys
Good
have a
night.
good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. Is there anything else on the agenda? My eyes are killing me. Do we have any bills to pay?
Make a motion to pay the bills and the payroll.
I don't even see that on the agenda, but yes. Motion? Okay, that's Ron.
And Lorraine,
Lorraine, thank you. Charlene, excuse me. Okay, pay the bills. Moynihan Rink update. Marty, I'll let you take this one. The report that, I believe it was what, Jonathan?
The last report was from Tyler Drew. He conducted an inspection after one of the significant rain events that we recently had. And just to confirm some conditions that were reported in the developer's report. And basically we had recommendations that they needed to get out there and really repair, their erosion controls. They were, the water was up to the top in places. There was some sediment and silt laden water getting by the erosion controls, but from what I could gather, it wasn't entering the stream and wetland system. It was just into the buffer zone. So they did get out there and repair the erosion controls. We did suggest and recommend that there may be a need for a little bit more construction related erosion control BMPs considered, maybe another settling basin or something. But at that time, they have not provided that, and we are going to conduct another site inspection this week or next and see how the site's fared after the recent rain. But at this point, the rain is an epic proportion, and every site that we're looking at now has a similar challenges. So they're doing the best they can, but we're keeping an eye on it, and they're providing their reports every week.
Yep.
So they know we're watching, and so I'm hoping it's going to stop raining. So I think the site will dry out.
It's only not rained 2 days this month, so.
I know. More
Um,
rain for tomorrow.
Okay, so the next thing on the agenda, or under the administration anyway, is McCarthy Farm. Lorraine, I'll give you the floor and you can explain to everybody what's going on, and I believe you have somebody.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce to everybody Pam Titus, who is on Open Space Committee, and she will be giving a presentation on what's been done so far and where we plan to go.
Okay, and the board, the board on this end has your report in front of us. Is
Yes.
the article, I believe.
Yep,
Okay.
this is just a brief thing, and thank you. We have applied for a grant, which is called a land acquisition for natural diversity, better known as a land grant through the state. The purpose of the grant is to assist conservation commissions in acquiring interest in land for conservation and passive recreation. The Open Space Committee, assisted by Lorraine Pratt from the Conservation Commission, we have researched and provided pertinent materials to the town administrator and to the assistant administrator. And a grant, we submitted our grant on July 14th. And the grant is requesting $400,000 toward the acquisition of the what's known as the McCarthy Farm on Beach Street. The grant awards will be announced sometime in the late fall of 2021. The purpose, as I said, is to preserve the McCarthy Farm. It's approximately 36.3 acres of land. It's on the town assessor's map. It's map 82, lot 16. And it's been a working farm for many, many years. The we hope that should we be able to acquire this, that it will become a place where we can have trails and skiing and whatever. There's a small pond, which we might be able to put together for fishing, etc. We hope, our plan is, should we be able to acquire the property, should the town be able to acquire the property, that we'll create a trail system on the property. The property has a lot of natural reserves. There's potentially 2 vernal ponds on the property. There's the property also includes a farm pond and 2 small streams that are tributaries of the French's Stream, an important tributary to the North River. And it also includes the eastern summit of Rye Hill. As I said, we'd use it for public access to, for passive recreation, including hiking, nature study, etc. The reason we feel this is important at this time is because the property, which is one of the last remaining unprotected privately owned properties in the town, has just been put under, well, not just, but has recently been put under purchase and sale agreement. And the property, as many of you may know, was enrolled as a Chapter 61A tax status, which gives the town the right of first refusal. And thus that's what we're going for, is to go after this property to develop into open space and conservation land. And what we need from you guys, what we need from the Conservation Commission is your support. During the month of August, we'll be holding a, and the date is to be announced, we'll be holding an open forum for the residents of Rockland to talk about this project, to talk about buying this property, to talk about the development of this property and making it into a useful property for citizens, and to encourage people to participate in this property development. And also for the attendance at town meeting and the supporting of this project at town meeting. What we need from conservation is that we are hoping that you will attend this open forum, and we'll keep you posted, support the project at town meeting, and to assist us in the development of the land. And I'm happy to answer any questions. And I also want to publicly thank Lorraine for the assistance that she gave the Open Space Committee.
So Pam, thank you for the presentation.
Sure.
And thank you, Lorraine, for all the work that you've done, you know, on behalf of the board. From my perspective, of course, you'll have our support.
Thank you.
I believe you have the support of the entire board.
Absolutely.
It's not town meeting, it's special town meeting that this will be on, I believe, in September.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
If you could keep the board maybe updated and give us maybe at least a week in advance of this meeting that you're going to have in August.
Yep, we will.
I'm sure that most of us would attend.
Great.
You know, at least most of the board would attend. You know, I mean, it depends on what times the hearing is held,
Yep, and schedules. Yep.
you know, members can get out or not. That's all.
Yep.
So Lorraine, do you have any comments on this? Kind of considering that you're kind of spearheading this from the conservation end of things.
Well, I can tell you that I learned a lot. I learned a lot about grants and what it entails. But I hope that the board will fully support this project. Open space is disappearing in Rockland very fast. As we all know, most of the land is being developed. And we really need to, this property also, if you look at the maps, it also abuts conservation land in several other towns. So this means that it'll be full access to people from this area. And
Whitman and Hanson, I believe, right?
Yes.
yes, yeah. And I think that it's a worthwhile endeavor, and I hope that we will get the grant, but we won't know that for some time. But we do have to. The town has to support this. in order for us to even get the grant. So I'm hoping that everybody will come to the open forum, and open space will explain what they do and the projects that they've done in town already, like the rail trail and similar projects like that. And I think everybody on the board should show up at special town meeting, and I think that the citizens should, because we're just running out of open space.
I think it's more of a, letting the citizens know what it actually is, you know what I mean? Because most people, you know, that don't attend these hearings, meetings, et cetera, they don't really know, you know, really what we're even talking about, so.
Well, this is what open space is hoping to accomplish as well, is to let the citizens know. Their board works very hard in trying to find areas where we can have, you know, green space in the town, and they do a lot of hard work on that.
Now,
It'll be the forum will be also very educational for people. They'll know what these boards do and what we have to go through to get a grant. So I hope everybody will come.
so I may be kind of off base here, and I hope I'm not calling anybody out, and feel free to just say it if I am, but I see Mr. Hastings is still on the call. Mr.
Yes.
Hastings, you still on the call?
Yes, I am.
And I believe that you are the one who has the purchase and sale on the property?
That's correct.
Can you just kind of enlighten the Conservation Commission on what your plan is for the property?
Well, I've made a proposal to the Board of Selectmen, and I think Lorraine is aware of that proposal, and you know, I think it's up to the town to decide whether they want to accept that or not. You know, that's why I haven't said anything.
Okay, I mean, I was just giving you your chance to, you know, say something as we discuss this. I mean, I kind of want to give everybody their chance to have.
I appreciate that very much. Basically, what I've said is there's a total of 41 acres, and I've offered the town 35 acres at no cost, and I would build the entrance, the trails. This would be the area of the land that has the beautiful features that were just discussed.
So you're willing to give the town, and just so everybody knows on this hearing, I have no idea what Mr. Hastings just presented. This is the first I'm hearing about this, so let everybody know. We know how rumors spread. So you're willing to give the town 35 acres of this property?
Of the 41 acres, and I also offered to build a parking area and restroom. And in exchange for that, I would develop the part of the property that has the outbuildings on it in approximately a 7-acre area. I would build townhomes. So there'd be a development agreement between myself and the town, similar to what I've done in Foxborough and Hingham in the past.
Well, I appreciate you chiming in. I'm sure the board appreciates that, and anybody else who's on the hearing.
We all agree it's a very special piece of property. I think I've probably walked every foot of land in Rockland, and this is a very special piece of land.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for commenting. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Does the board have any questions on this? I mean, I think we'll all go to the meeting in August. And discuss it with the Open Space Commission and anybody else who comes to the hearing, and we'll go from there.
Hey, Doug,
Yes.
quick question. Just a follow-up, is the grant, did you say fall of 21 or fall of 22?
1 second, let me double check the date. It is the fall of 21.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have it right in the minute.
It's 120 days from when the grant was submitted, which was July 14th.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Great. Thank you. Okay, Lorraine, do you have anything else to add, or are we good for now until we hit the August meeting, or?
I think we're all set and, open space and I'll, of course, assist them in any way I can. We'll organize the open forum and then, they'll be putting out flyers. They'll have an agenda. And they'll also be putting out flyers for the special town meeting so that we can get the support of the town on this.
Okay. All right. That's great. That's
Thank you very much.
positive that came out of this hearing anyway.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Who's this?
Mary Parsons.
Yeah, but it says Dana's iPad.
I know, it's when, oh, please, it's my iPad,
Well, it
but
says Dana.
somehow it has his name on it. I go through this with the phone too.
I'm very surprised at you, Mary. I'm very surprised.
I have a question of when and who is going to be doing the voting on right of first refusal.
Oh,
Anybody know?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand your question, Mary. The selectmen have agreed to go forward with the grant. And they will, the town, once the formal letter that the property is being sold is presented to the town, which has not been presented yet, then we have 120 days to respond to that. And at this point, the selectmen are saying that we're going after the property, whether it be through Tom Hastings' project or be on our own. Does that answer?
Well, I understand, but being one that already did
Yeah,
a similar one and did a grant, and I know from being a selectman, we had to vote to do the right of first refusal. That's
Right.
what I'm asking.
I think
Because
that,
if we've already done something like this and voted to do the right of first refusal, I would think that that's what you have to do at some point. You're gonna have to make up your mind. We're gonna make up your mind.
I agree.
It's gonna
I
happen,
agree.
yeah. So it's going to
agree
town
with you.
meeting. By the
Yes.
time you go to town meeting, that's when you're probably gonna need to know one way or another what's gonna happen.
Right. I think that the town meeting warrant, and I don't have it in front of me, Mary, but it is contingent of the rest of the funding is contingent upon the receival of the grant. Which
Right,
again, we won't know about till later in the fall. So I'm not sure about the specific answer to your question.
okay.
Lorraine, do you have any thoughts on that? Lorraine,
No,
okay.
no, I just know we're going through the procedure of submitting the grant and we'll see in the fall if we are awarded the grant. And I think that the selectmen will make their decision. I'm not sure when they're going to make their decision.
Well, I think part of it has to do with that special town meeting, as you said, Mary,
Yeah, well,
because
Okay.
the warrant that they're putting forward, and I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. We'll talk about how the funding would all come together, and it's all contingent upon the award of the grant.
Okay,
Okay.
I think that
Pam.
this is my question for now.
Thank you.
Pam, we have to have the approval of the town,
Yes,
people.
yes,
before
Right.
They will award us the grant.
yes.
Right, so I think that answers that part of my question for
We'll
now.
talk.
Yes, we will. Good job. And thank you, Doug, for doing the Zoom meetings. Really appreciate it.
anything for you, Mary, is what I want to do.
I have one more question, and it has to do with Shingle Mill. Have they filed a notice of intent yet, or are they waiting to file a notice of intent?
They've already filed a notice of intent for,
Okay.
wait a minute, whoa,
Could I have a
whoa,
Yeah,
copy of it?
it is a notice of intent that they've filed for both, for
Yeah.
the
for the,
property.
for the,
Okay, is it possible to have a copy of that?
hold on, everybody calm down. So they filed two notices of intents, one for the project and one for the pump test. The pump
Right.
test is done and orders have been issued.
Okay, so
You're
could I have
aware
a
of
copy
that.
of the orders
I
of
have to-
conditions for that? And I maybe I have a copy of the notice of intent. I'll have to look.
I believe I've sent you everything that I have on the Shingle Mill project is because the notice of intent hasn't changed since the first time I sent it to you.
Okay, so, but what I don't have is the order of conditions for the pump test.
Well, I can certainly send those to you because I just sent those out last week.
Oh, okay. I would appreciate that.
Doug,
Am I accurate or am I not accurate?
You're
Yeah.
correct.
Okay,
Douglas,
I'm all set.
Yes, Lorraine,
have we heard anything from DEP yet
on.
on the
Pump test.
walk? Marty and I were on the site visit over there, and DEP was gonna make their decision, but I know
You mean
it's probably,
You mean as far as the zones?
yes,
No,
Lome.
we have not heard that, and we should not be discussing that right now either.
Okay, I just wanted to know if we had heard anything.
I haven't heard anything. I think that Marty might have dropped off. She said, "That's it. I've had enough of this."
Yeah,
But I'll send Marty an email tomorrow and I'll ask her.
okay,
But I have not heard anything as far as anything formal coming out of that site walk yet.
Wow, that's a long time.
No, not really for DEP, Mary. It's not really.
Yeah,
Not really. It's not that long. So, okay. So Mary, you need a copy of the pump test order conditions for Shingle Mill.
right.
All right. Consider it done. You'll have it tomorrow.
Pardon?
Consider
I'm
it done.
done.
You'll have it tomorrow.
Yep, yep,
Okay.
that'd be good.
Do we have anything else? All right, we did the.
Not me.
We did Moynihan Rink, we did the bills, we did the minutes. Secretary, do we have anything else?
No,
Eric?
you're good. We're all set. Motion
Okay.
to adjourn.
You can't make that motion, but anyway, motion to adjourn. Oh, no, we can't. Hold on.
Why?
No, we can't do that. There's one more thing I wanted to discuss. Meetings moving forward. This meeting I had Zoom because I had multiple requests to have it Zoom. I know some of the board members don't like the Zoom format. I don't really particularly like it either, but because we don't really get the information like we would normally get it in the meeting room, and we have plans in front of us and we're able to kind of discuss all looking at one another. So I need the board to chime in on this, on how we're going to move forward with meetings and what is the preference of each board member. Virginia's already expressed her preference. Ron's expressed his. I've expressed mine. Lorraine, Charlene.
in person.
In person.
Okay, so Conservation Commissions from, Conservation Commission meetings from here on forward will be in person at the town hall. I will push to see if we can get some sort of hybrid. So the town, the residents can Zoom into our actual meeting at the town hall. Right now, that's not possible because I've asked that multiple times. But I believe that would be a pretty good service to offer if we could pull it off. Right now, the only way to do that is to bring my computer to the town hall and kind of deal with exactly what we're dealing with right now. Nobody can really see anything. We have to rely on, what we're relying on. So from here on out in person, unless there's another state, of emergency or whatever. All right. The board good with that?
Very good.
Okay.
Yay.
I thought you didn't go out at night. Charlene,
Go
are
ahead.
you there? No, she's not there.
What?
I thought you didn't go out at night.
What?
I thought you
can't-
didn't go out. at
I
night. You
can't
just-
drive at night.
Oh, okay.
So that means that poor Lorraine has got to do all the driving now.
Yeah, so Lorraine has 2 votes, not 1. Anyway, so our next meeting will be in person.
May I ask a question? Going forward, my name is Sherry Valley at 411 Pond Street. Going forward with the in-person meetings, can you at least make arrangements so that they are recorded for
They're
viewing
all
later?
recorded at the town hall.
Perfect, thank you. No, they're not all recorded at town hall. Depends on your meeting room.
Our meetings are recorded at the town hall. by the secretary of our board.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay? Okay, no, now we can adjourn. Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
all in favor?
Third, fourth, fifth.
All right, everybody have a good